Hello everyone, Chicken here. I was given the idea to make an XP tier list with, one of those easy sites like this one, and I thought, what, why not? So I'm going to make a tier list based on ranked, not competitive. If this becomes like popular and people want me to make a ranked tier list, because it varies quite a bit. Like half the selection of heroes varies, not all of them. But, there are a lot of heroes. This might take a bit. I just basically chose every single potential XP hero. Not that's completely weird. Like Gushin XP, yeah, sure, that's played, but you don't ever really see that quite often. But everything else you will probably have seen at some point, except a few things that I played or I think were like meme picks that are kind of fun. So let's get into it here. I'll just do top to bottom. Akai, he's a kind of a fun XP to play. Not that great. Probably C tier. If you're really good with your ults, you can do some decent early damage, maybe like a cheese kill or two, but you have to be really good with your ults. Honestly, it's probably like a D tier. I'm probably going to adjust a bunch as time goes on, because I don't really know what I'm going to base off of a lot here. I don't even know if I need a D tier. S plus is kind of unnecessary. I'll make, for competitive, I do like an S plus tier, like super priority, but since this is ranked, I think like 1S is good enough. Alice, she could be like a C tier. She's decent late game if you just farm scale, play XP like a farming lane. So the difference between a ranked and competitive list is that you can get away with a lot of late game XPs, which is why they're considered ranked heroes. A quick example is like Zilong, like garbage and competitive, but he's like really good ranked XP because you can just perma split. Zilong's Sun kind of fit into that category. Zilong's Sun, Freya, and like a few others. So those will actually be good in ranked, but garbage and competitive. So that'll be like the biggest difference amongst other things. Aldous, probably a B tier. Good split pushing. Late game, you're a monster. Kill everyone. So only getting there is a problem. Argus is kind of garbage now. Like, he's actually really bad after they reworked him. I didn't think the nerfs were that bad, but they're actually really bad. So he's probably down here with Akai. Probably a little better than Akai, though. Probably like the best D tier hero. Arlots, I put in A. Even though you can build him damage, you can build him tank, a lot of versatility. You can get kills in lane easily if the enemy doesn't know how to play versus an Arlot. You do lose versus like S tier XP laners, but you would probably beat like everyone here in the early game. Of course, they would probably outscale you. You do fall off. That'd be like the only thing I would consider putting him down one, but for now, I'll leave him in A. Maybe I'll change him. Joy. I want to put Joy in A because of personal bias. Honestly, if it was like my Joy, I put an S. I'll put her like B because not everyone's good on Joy. If you want to learn her, she's a really good XP, in my opinion. I think she's really, really good because she can farm and dive backline. But like, to have the skill on her is a bit of a big ask, so I'll put her in B. Just I'm thinking about the general player here. But dang, easy S, definitive S right now, really good right now. If I make like an S plus tier, he'd be an S plus tier. But we'll just leave it right here for now. If S gets too crowded, then I'll make the S plus tier. I'm doing this all on the fly. I haven't thought much about it. CC, I'd also put her in S, honestly, because you beat like most XP laners 1v1 when you run Vengeance. You're a super good threat in the side lane. The only downside is that you're vulnerable to assassins, so you kind of have to play safe in lane. I'll put her like high A, maybe S, just because like she's easy to gank. And you have to be really smart in your early game to make sure you don't get cheesed, otherwise your game is ruined. If you play CC and you're behind, your game is like over. You have to maintain even or snowball. Alpha is like a C tier. I've seen like some Alpha XPs. I think I've seen like one or two in like a scrims a while back, but ranked, a lot more XPs have stronger late game than you. Your early isn't even enough. He's what I would call a mid-game hero, where you're not going to kill anyone pre-4, but once you get War Axe and maybe a second item, you kind of like shit on everyone, but then late game happens and then you lose. So CB. Yeah, probably worse than maybe better than Alice. I will try to rank them on order here. Like, I think CC's better than Arlot, but Dang's probably up here. Guinevere. If you are really good on Gwyn, she's A. I think generally she's B though, because I don't see a lot of like insane Guinevere players. But the really good ones, I would rank her like probably highest B. Fuck. She is like in ranked. Okay, I gotta think. Since this is ranked, I'll put her in A. Guinevere is insane. She can 1v1 almost every single XP there is unless they buy magic resist. Like if you lane versus Guinevere in XP, you should rush tough boots. And then maybe an extra magic resist like Shroud. because if she gets level 4 and you have no magic resist, she can full HP you, unless you are a tank. If you're just a normal fighter who's trying to build a damage item first, she will full HP you, unless you are a tank. So I think she is actually crazy for rank. I think she's underplayed, honestly. With how easy it is for her to kill, I don't think she's played enough. I'm very shocked that she hasn't played enough. Balmond, like, C tier. You can get, like, cheese kills in the early game. Hard to 1v1 him. I probably, like, rank him up here. He's, like, high C. You can play him for fun. Not too great, though. Chow, S. Chow is S, because you can play him tank, you play him damage. Both are good. Tank, if your team needs a front line, you can make sets. At, like, damage, you can one-shot. Like most of the other split late game XPs, if you play it really well. So yeah, I think he's deserving of S. Hilda, if this was competitive, this would be a different ranking. But I think for general rank, she's probably like a B. You can get very easy cheese kills with her, and people severely underestimate how strong she is. But as soon as it gets late game and people start grouping, she becomes so useless. And since rank games go late so often, I put her like in B. Yuzong. It's either high A or low S. He's so strong in the early game, mid game, but late game, you will get fucked by marksmen and anybody who has Purify. And if their marksman has Wind in Nature, like mid game, late game, I'd probably put him like right here. High A, but not S, to where you pick him every time, you just will always have impact. Oh, this Chow pick like could be A, but I'm like, most Chow players I see are like one-trick Chows, so they have an idea what they're doing. Nobody picks Chow. Actually, no, I'm not saying. Of course, people pick Chow and they have no idea what they're doing. But I still see mostly like really good Chows compared to bad Chows. So that's why I'll put them up here. Carmilla, I actually think Carmilla is underrated. Maybe not in ranked. In ranked, I'd probably put her in C. People don't really know how to teamfight properly in ranked. She's like an excellent teamfight hero. Her ults can turn around games insanely. And you're just super unkillable early game, so you can invade a lot if you just like cut waves. Like if you try to cut wave hero this hero level 1, there's very few heroes who can actually stop you because you steal defense with your first skill and you get HP. So it's pretty good. Fredrin, also probably a C. Maybe C, B. Probably high B. He's actually really strong, level 4. You can 1v1 a lot of heroes. A lot of good AoE CC, good peel for your team. Not a lot of carry potential, but he's pretty alright. Esme, I'd probably put in... Okay, honestly, I want to move like... Argus is probably a meme now. Argus is not a meme. Ooh, it's like, I don't want to crowd the C tier. There's so many C tier XP laners. Maybe I just crowd it anyway. There's so many of these that are just bad straight up, but like... people play him anyway because for like very niche reasons. Esme, very strong 1v1. You build their damage or tank. You're being annoying. Damage, you can kind of one-shot people if they don't expect it with her ult combo. Honestly, she isn't played at all. I kind of put her in C just because people don't play her much, but I feel like she's underutilized. Like she can actually be good. People just don't know how. So I'll put her in B. Yeah, I think B is fine. Freya. Freya is like S if you're a one trick, but high A. Mostly because most Freya one tricks are... I'm sorry. Most Freya players I see are one tricks, so I think it justifies this. But like the best one tricks, we'll put it in S. But A for sure. Absolute monster if you get items. You can actually just full HP tower die people with Inspire. Like as long as you have 1 or 2 items. It's kind of absurd. She can just 1v5 if you're really, really good and outplay everyone. She's definitely a hero. I used to permaban her in ranked. I sometimes still ban her, but not as frequently because I feel like for whatever reason, the amount of Freya one-tricks just severely declined. I saw so many like 1 or 2 seasons ago and I would permaban her because there's just way, way too many. But she's absurd. If you want to actually climb in ranked, you can just one-trick her and you will notice that, okay, like you just 1v9. Glue, mid. He's good and competitive, but the whole job of Glue is to zone out the enemy XP laner and then be able to flicker on like their backline or jungle and pull them into your team. The only thing downside with that is that in ranks, you zone out their XP laner, but your team loses anyway, and then you just can't do anything because you rely on your team to do damage. went on whoever you pull. And oftentimes I'm not coordinated enough to make that work. I've played glue and ranked a lot, and where I would just lose, and I'd just be like, why did I pick this hero? So C, I even put him in D, but because people don't really know, I'll just put him in D. People don't know how to play glue. The ones that do know how to play him, I actually don't think I've ever seen a really good ranked glue. So I'll put him like down here. He would be C if I see like a single decent one, but I haven't seen a single decent one. Every time I've seen glue, they've just fed and been useless. Bane, I'm putting C. He's not great, not awful, but Mage Bane, you scale, get your items, you can one-shot. It's just the typical like one-shot category. I almost want to make a category, just late game monsters. That literally could be its own category. There's so many XPs that would fall into that. Just late game monsters. It's actually super tempting, I'm not gonna lie. Nah, that would count too many of them, so I'm not gonna do that. Julian, B. Very good 1v1 hero. Very good bush camp hero. Only problem is that if you don't completely one-shot them, you will die because it takes too long for your skills to come back. Too long of a cooldown. I put him like high B. I think he's probably better than Hilda. He's probably better than Aldous, to be honest here. I'm not. He doesn't cross into this threshold yet. Khalid, probably high A or S. Nah, high A. It's ranked. You can build him damage, you can build him tank. Tank, you still do a lot of damage. He can be very annoying. You can't carry with him, but probably not better than Yuzong, but still up here. You can snowball pretty hard with him. People don't expect his damage when you're a tank. You can dive backline, you can create a lot of pressure. Very good overall. Camera. It's not that great late game like a lot of these XP laners are. Aldous actually. Some of these heroes, it's like, okay, they get to late game and they're just better than all these other heroes, but you have to be so selfish, and I don't want to base it off that like selfish metric. I swear there's gonna be comments, people saying like, oh, but this hero is so good, you can just carry. Yeah, but like, there's a reason why you have a 50% win rate. Half the times you carry, and the other half your team loses before you do anything, and then you blame your team for losing. But meanwhile, it's like the enemy XP laner is rotating, and you think you're fed, but you're not fed. They're giving you farm, but they're getting their team ahead, and you're just going to accomplish nothing. So like, I'm not basing it off of just carry potential alone. If I was doing carry potential alone, then I would make that like late game monster tier. Alucard, that's a meme. He's doesn't really beat a lot 1v1. You have to farm to late game to do anything, and even when you're late game, you will still get one shot by any sort of CC. The actual meme. You have to run like Flicker or Vengeance to make him work. You cannot run Purify in this character because honestly you need Vengeance most of the time because you're an all-in. Barats, probably a C. You could do good early game. You're too tanky to kill, but you will just die in your ults, and unless your team's still, if you get put behind, you're useless. Put him higher than Ballland, but I think Fred's probably better. Gatots, probably a B tier. B tier A. Oof, hard to say. Probably B. Super tanky. You know, you have so much presence in that first turtle fight. A lot of CC. Revitalize is such a strong tool in the early game. You're not going to outright beat like a Yuzong or a CC, which is why he's way below them. But your utility is absurd. If you know how to play this character, and you know how to rotate, you can make insane rotations and help your team out. He's not a carry character. He's like a utility XP. Pack is dog shit. I put him D tier. Pack is like, you need so much farm to make this character work. You can't 1v1 people unless they're stupid. Half the time you try to out-trade someone, you're just going to CC and they'll out-trade you. Like, I put him in memes, but he's not that bad. Honestly, I kind of might be memes. It's kind of meme. For rank, I'll put him in memes. Deeroth, actually, let's do Hylos. Hylos A tier. Only problem with Hylos, CC hard counters him. Absolutely hard counters him. Yuzong also can beat him, but he's super good at diving backline. You're super unkillable early game. I probably rank him higher than Khalid, but I don't think, maybe higher than, oof. I put him like between here. I'll leave him right here for now because I can't decide. But you press alt on any hero that doesn't have a flicker or a dash, they can't move, you can dive on them. You can 1v1 most marksmen's early mid game because you reduce their attack speed so easily. Very few XP laners can actually counter you. The only ones that do are the ones that either do true damage or percent HP damage, aka like Yuzong, CC, Borg, I can't think any more off the top of my head, but those three pretty good versus him. But yeah, also another utility XP where you want to rotate, help your team, not really split push. Okay, on to the next. Benedetta. Ooh. One tricks, gods. I put him in A, but generally probably a B. If you want to do full damage build, she's so squishy as a base character. Like her base stats are just very low, very easy to kill. You have to be like you have to do so much on Benedetta to make her good, essentially. Like you have to time your stun outplay, make sure you trade, and only when you're fed you can all in one shot. So you need to be really good on this character to make her work. On to the next. Edith. Edith is probably an A tier, I would say. Mid A tier. Oh, Freya I would probably rank a little higher than this. Freya I'd be like, I guess generally. Yeah, probably right here. Arla's probably low A tier. Edith. I put her right here. She's a utility XP that can do damage, and especially late game, if you get Starlium and maybe a Holy Crystal if you're greedy, you can actually just two-shot any squishy hero, and you can just shred tanks with your true damage. You can alternatively build Feather with her and Inspire, but I don't like that because I think Starlium gives you more damage. Feather will give you more like damage, maybe first turtle, second turtle, not even first turtle, second turtle, third turtle, but like getting into late game, Feather won't do you anything. So yeah, overall pretty solid. Nothing too crazy though. I'm a little biased on Arla and Edith here in ranked. I'm just good at them. It might not be the same for you all. They do require a little bit of mastery to make them usable. But, you know, this is a tier list based on what I think of the XP. How good you are in the hero doesn't really factor into it. Uranus, kind of bad. All you are is a tank that soaks up damage. It sounds good on paper, but in ranked when games go so late, as soon as you stop being able to take damage, you become a useless hero because you do no damage. And you also offer no CC. I would put him like down here. I'd honestly put him down here too, like really. He's on the same level with Blue, where you're too team reliant, and once it goes out the window, I mean honestly Argus is probably better than these two. At least you can do damage like game with Argus. He's still bad though. Lapu. Lapu's a B. Easy to be. You can be really strong. You can snowball with him. You just fall off late game really hard. Nothing. He's a pretty just basic, you know, fighter. Fight level 4. You win early game. Hopefully late game the marksman doesn't one-shot you or win the nature. Overall he's fine. I'm gonna skip to Lucas here because I don't have any S tiers. Lucas, easy S tier. I like building him damage or tank or bruiser. You can be it's very preference on your builds, but he has a lot of CC with his first skill. Good damage too when you see it War Axe. I mean, even in general, his first skill is good damage. You can use like any spell on him and it'll work. It's super flexible. You can blind pick him and win almost every time. Phobius, I put an A tier. He's very good 1v1. Super, a lot of sustain. You can go Vengeance on him and just be unkillable in team fights. Only problem is that oftentimes you go up too deep and they will kill you. And if you get a little bit behind, your character is useless because you're reliant on being too tanky that they can't kill you. As soon as they cross that line where they can kill you, you can't do anything. I'm probably low A because of that, but he's definitely better than some of these. Yin, he's a meme. Yin used to be a powerhouse in the XP lane, but I think they nerfed him a bunch a while back. Powerhouse and ranked XP. I'll specify again. This is a ranked tier list. This is for general ranked gameplay, not competitive. But used to be really good XP. You could always like win. You'd see him picked all the time, but he just got a few big nerfs that severely decreased his pick rate, and I just don't see him anymore. And I think I've never seen a good one since. So bottom here for sure. Grok, I think is underrated. I think he's like a C tier though because he's underrated. You can actually one-shot people with him with your first skill ult combo. I put him like up here, like high C, but I wouldn't put him in like B. People underestimate his damage a lot. If you're smart with your first skills, do big chunks of damage. Borg, I think is B. I'm picking random heroes there at this point. Borg, very good late game shredder on tanks, hard to kill. Only problem is if you get fucked in the early game, you just will lose the whole game because you'll be perma farming and super behind. I put him right here. It's fine, middle of B. Babu's, I think is like D or a meme. I'll put. He's not on D's level. Probably low C then. Low C, maybe high D. I'll put him mid C actually, because he is better than a few of these. So Thamuz, you're basically the same as Glue and Uranus, where you are a tank but you do damage. That's the only difference. Thamuz tries to stick on his enemy, do a bunch of damage. The only problem is you have to find a balance between, oh, can I buy this damage item, or will I become too squishy if I buy this damage item and then I no longer can take any damage? So he's oftentimes too weak to take damage, or you don't build enough damage to where you are taking damage, but the enemies just kill you or walk past you while you're trying to kill someone, and you don't do enough damage to kill them anyway, and then they kill you anyway. Sun, probably Sun is like A. Sun's a very good split pusher right now. Very hard to 1v1 for most heroes. I put him like a high A. Just because you see him so much as well. And then just monster on the side lane. You can tower dive with this guy. He got some huge buffs. It's like ranked, you'll see him a lot. Maybe not high A, mid A. Zilong. I'd put Zilong just next to Sun. Same, literally like the exact same, except Sun doesn't one-shot as harder, but Zilong one-shots harder and is faster with his ult. But Sun is like safer because you have mobility. He's just a safer version of Zilong, honestly. Now, I only added this guy here to be on the meme list. Kaja XP can be really goofy because you can build full mage and just be like annoying. And then if you get enough items, you can one-shot squishies. I solely added him here because it's like funny to do. It's not necessarily the greatest thing to do, but it's funny. Terizla, probably a B. Very good early game, not early, yeah, very good early mid-game damage. You kind of fall off late, but you can be super tanky versus crit marksmen. If you go dominance blade armor, you can oftentimes just 1v1 most crit marksmen, and they won't be able to do anything because you have your damage reduction. You're so tanky with the blade armor. He's kind of underused. I don't see him that much in ranked. I feel like people like really underestimate this guy because you can like, especially with all these Laylas, bro. You just flicker out the Layla. If they don't have flicker, they're dead. And if they do have flicker, force the flicker, and then you can back up because hopefully you can back up at that point. But definitely underused. I feel like he's still pretty solid. People don't use him that much though. All right, we're down to a little. Suyu's like C tier or D tier. This used to be a very good XP laner, but they nerfed him a lot to where he's still good in jungle, but he's just garbage in XP. If it wasn't for the recent nerfs he got, I'd probably put him in like D, but he's probably like the best D tier. Jawhead, probably low C, well bottom C. The only way to play this guy is to be like a bush camping dog, build full damage, or you just ult on the back line and hope you nuke the marksman. There's no other really way to play him. Kind of mid overall. Nobody plays him, but I know he actually has use, so I'll put him in C. The very bottom C, borderline D. Ruby, probably, dude. Goddamn. Ruby's like mid A. Ruby's actually very good in ranked, because you get your first 2 items, you're like unkillable, as long as you don't get put behind. But she's super sustaining. People don't know how to play versus her. Like, versus Ruby, a very good Ruby at that, you need to collapse on her and CC her before she can get any CC skills off herself. If you are not collapsing and diving on her in like the early game to shut her down, or even late game when you have like a Tigreal, Kaja, those kind of heroes, like you need to go on this hero and just one-shot her. Otherwise, she'll just play the fight super sustainy, she'll look for a good set opportunity, and she'll be very good. Chow, I'm a little biased in the Chow pick, I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I see it next to Lucas and Bedang, it maybe shouldn't be up here. Maybe like right here. Because Lucas and Bedang are just so much better than Chow. I think probably these two just stay up here alone. The kings of RG right now. Of XP RG at least. Okay, D-Roth. D-Roth is actually very solid. I believe he's actually extremely underrated. You're super strong in the early game, especially if you go with a tank build. You can pub stomp turtle, be super unkillable. The only problem is late game if you go with tank build. Kind of hard for you to do a lot of damage, and you're vulnerable a lot more. You can go damage build on him as well, but it's obviously a lot weaker after they reworked him. I think he's mid B. Actually high B, probably the best B. Okay, Martis, C tier. Probably like a mid C. You beat a lot of you actually can beat a lot of these 1v1 split pushers, but only in the early mid game. Late game, especially if you're a damage Martis, you're a meme. You have to snowball early mid, and it's even harder to do it on XP compared to jungle. So maybe like a high C actually. I'll put like high C, like the drink high C. Saber, I think Saber's underrated. Still C tier though. Maybe like high C. He requires no brain to play. All you have to do is not die in lane. And if you verse like a Zilong or Sun or like another squishy one, maybe a Gwyn. And probably low C. Now that I really look at other XPs up here, you can't really one shot a lot of these except for the late game ones. So probably like a low C. But if you know how to dive in the jungler as an assassin, or dive at marksman, you can shut them down. But underrated, I'd say. Sylvana is a meme. This hero's so bad right now. You only do good versus people that are stupid and don't know how your character works. Anybody with a brain just like will be able to out trade you. You don't win trades at all in this character unless you ult commit for it. But then if you ult for a trade, they're just gonna kill you after your ult's done because you don't have any big ways of doing damage. When they reworked her, they actually just gutted her. I swear she was better before the rework, but she's like a meme, maybe like a high tier meme, but like not like that matters. Leomord, low D. I put him in meme, but he sucks too. I only put him here because I've seen like a single Leomord XP this season. He's very rarely even picked in jungle. He's overall just a bad hero right now. He requires an Angela to make work. Minotaur is probably like a low C. You're an ult slave. If you're damage, you can 1v1 a lot of these heroes up here. Actually, I'll put him high C. I forgot about damage. Damage in C actually goes crazy if you get like 2 items. Corrosion, DHS. You can 1v1 most fighters, even like the mid HP ones, unless they have Vengeance. But getting to the items is very slow. You also have no mobility, so it's very easy to get caught out, die to like a Guinevere. Masha, probably also a C. You are like Sun and Zilong, except you don't have the mobility, you don't have the survivability, and you need even more items to make work. So probably like a mid C. I don't think I missed any other heroes. We'll do one last double check. Any potential XP heroes. I mean, Fanny is a meme. If you know how to play Fanny really good in jungle, then you can use Petrify to make her work. But I only see T do it. So like that's like super one trick based. I don't think there's anything else I'd put in XP here. And the rest of the heroes. Maybe Gus. But Gus would just be like a C, a low C, but I'm not gonna put him in because you rarely see it. Even though it is usable. Gus XP is usable. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. So, can I scroll this to where I see both? No, I can't see the scroll wheel on the side of the screen for some reason. Oh, that sucks. Anyway, this is my tier list. Lucas S. So what I define by S tier is you could pick them and win the game, regardless of what the enemy goes. Because they're just that good. That is what I'm defining by S tier. Every single tier hero in the A tier here can die or lose just because of what the enemy XP picked. Or if they get ganked, they're just over. You know, Lucas has tons of survivability even if he gets ganked. His ult immune's all CC. But dang, you have so much sustain with your second skill shield. Both your first skill and ult knock enemies back. So it's very hard to gank these two. Everything else here, like, can be die either solo or they're successful. How do you pronounce it? Successful. I'm not gonna say it. They're easy to gank. How do I pronounce that word? I know what the word is, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Alright, anywho, long video, but XP tier list for a lot of heroes. Like and subscribe. If you guys enjoy this kind of thing, I'll make competitive XP hero tier list, and that will be probably half the heroes here, because some of them I won't even talk about. Or I might just do the same amount of heroes here and explain why. Anywho, hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you later. See you all later. Bye-bye.